So we finally know that India will in fact be taking part of the Asia Cup final. That was confirmed after a rather good victory against Sri Lanka. But of course, the real focus has then been who's going to be that team that India faces. And thankfully, the way the tournament has panned out, it's basically a straight shootout between the winner of the match that is going to be taking place on Thursday. So tomorrow. Yeah. So the winner of Sri Lanka, Pakistan,
The
really.
co-hosts.
Co-hosts actually, now when you think about it, yes, technically the co-hosts. And well, what we thought we'd be discussing in today's edition of the Dugout is what really is the chance we have of an India-Pakistan final. And truth be told, I'm saying it's going either way at this point.
Yeah, I think it could be, I don't know, 80, what is it?
20.
I'm not good at math. Anyways, because let's look at it. Let's be honest, ACC has been conspiring to make an India versus Pakistan
Hi, Sudhvi.
final happen.
Hi, Sudhvi.
Yeah, it's very obvious at this point. And Pakistan being the team that they are, I think they'll beat Sri Lanka.
As we build up to that, do keep your comments coming in. We'd love to hear from you guys as well as to whether or not you also think, like Gargi to my left is extremely sure that you are looking at a maiden India-Pakistan final. Hello, it's not happened ever. Perhaps may not happen even on this Sunday, but we'll get the answer to that tomorrow in that high-octane clash that you expect between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh.
Pakistan.
Sri Lanka and Pakistan, beg your pardon. But before we get into the nitty-gritties of what the strengths and the weaknesses of the two teams are, let's quickly have a look at the points table and tell you how the two teams stack up at the moment. India at the top of the file, you see the only team with that Q in brackets against their name. 2 matches, 2 victories, 4 points and a superb net run rate of a positive 2.690. Top of the pile, and India are now awaiting to see who joins them in the final that will take place at none other place than Colombo. Shane, if you could run us through the other teams that are logged in this running now for a place in the final.
So you've got Sri Lanka and Pakistan, and actually it's a contrasting fortunes really for both sides, because Sri Lanka again played 2, won 1, lost 1, but 2 points fair, net run rate not too bad because it's again minus 0.2, which is fair. But Pakistan, that heavy loss to India hurt them badly to the point where they went from having a positive net run rate to being minus 1.892.
In fact, if I'm not wrong, after they registered that 7-wicket win against Bangladesh, Pakistan was comprehensive in so many ways. And they were, by the way, after that match top of the pile because India were yet to play Pakistan.
Yes.
So you're looking at Pakistan just about 4 days back, they were on the top of the pile with the positive net run rate, and if I'm not wrong, it was running in excess of 2 at that point. Now what that heavy defeat against India did was, and that's why if you see that points table on your screen, which is why you now see that one defeat in that column of losses against Pakistan, and that net run rate has taken a big hit and now stands at minus 1.892, meaning that there's only one team that is eliminated from the race to the finals of the Asia Cup, and that is Bangladesh. But we're going to be talking about Sri Lanka and Pakistan, two teams who've given us good matches, a couple of them being very nervy ones as well, and Sri Lanka have been involved rather in those nervy encounters. But tomorrow, there will, by the way, interestingly, yesterday what we saw, and that was by far the most electric as far as atmosphere at the Premadasa is concerned. In this Asia Cup, guys, I have not seen anything remotely close to the kind of action, the kind of thrill that you saw, and the amount of fan participation like we did yesterday.
Yeah.
It's only going to be taking it to the other level. The roof's only going to be pushed higher, let's say, by the fans if there is any more limit now, because yesterday was electric and tomorrow is do or die.
Exactly, and I mean, to be fair, during this Asia Cup, we've long been complaining about the fact that fan attendance is in March.
Yeah.
There's not that many fans coming in, and we've talked about the fact that prices have been high, but I think they've dropped down the prices a bit, and you're seeing more and more fans turn up. Obviously, you won't going to get Sri Lankan fans turn up for India Pakistan. That's not a match that has any significance or relevance to them. But India versus Sri Lanka, you had a full house pretty much.
Yes.
Tomorrow also, as we're saying, do or die match. It's a match that, truth be told, should be having a good crowd. And I can be unkind and say that, the kind of atmosphere we had yesterday was the best because that was the only match where we had an atmosphere. Otherwise, there were times where I felt like we've time traveled back to 2020. where you had matches taking place in empty stadiums, so you could legit hear everything going on in terms of like there was no ambient noise, everything
Yeah.
was just there.
Just one channel.
Even in yesterday's match, at the beginning of the match, for the first, I think 10 overs, there wasn't a lot of crowd to begin
It was
with.
a day start also.
But then as soon as, the evening started rolling in, so did the crowd, and I think that is what will happen tomorrow as well.
100%. I think
Typical, when you see in terms of yesterday having been a working day,
Yeah.
and again Sri Lanka were batting second, and
So
you
is
always
tomorrow.
know. Sorry.
so it's tomorrow, in fact, a working day. So yeah.
Tomorrow again stakes much higher now for Sri Lanka. Yesterday, of course, had they won, and of course, there is no bigger joy, let's say, for any nation at the moment to be beating India at home again. That's us, the Bangladesh fans, that their celebrations were pretty loud just early in the year when they was it the end of last year, the ODI series, did it spill into this year?
Bangladesh versus India, you mean?
Yeah.
It was December, Jan.
Yeah. So around that time.
It was actually more December, because in
December, I
Jan.
remember the test series was definitely on. I just can't recall if
No,
the
it was,
ODI
it was
series had
right after that, because right in the beginning of the year only, you had started off hosting Sri Lanka and New Zealand, and then Australia later on.
followed. So yeah, that's what it takes quite a bit to be beating an Indian side. So yeah, unfortunately, it couldn't happen for Sri Lanka. Siddharth, our dear colleague, was not too happy about that.
Clearly, right?
But he was just one of the many others who were disappointed at the Premadasa yesterday.
Thank God there wasn't any rain interruption yesterday. That did not, the match wasn't washed off, or we could have had a Sidwi 1 hour monologue.
Yeah.
Because
And actually, to be
we
fair,
wouldn't have been happy about that.
To be fair, there was some rain, but thankfully no overs
Yeah,
lost.
exactly.
That was the main this thing. No overs lost, no reductions, no talks of cut-off time, because quite frankly, I think I've had enough of that for a lifetime at this point.
Yeah.
Such has been the organization of this tournament. But by the way, rain threat is very much a thing even for tomorrow's match. And if I'm a Pakistan fan, I'm praying to every rain god possible that it stays away for one day, because the net run rate situation is such, if it is washed out, Sri Lanka through.
Sri Lanka through. Both teams will be locked on 3 points then, because you'll be sharing points.
Correct.
And the net run rates don't change.
Exactly that. So I think that would be a bit of a dampener way for it to be decided.
Yeah.
Pakistan Sri Lanka, don't forget, is basically a rematch of last year's final.
It is, and we all remember what happened last year. In fact, it is something that is a repetition of what had happened last year in the UAE, then again, sorry folks, you will not see an India-Pakistan final in the Asia Cup. You've seen that in the finals of the T20 World Cup. You've not seen that in the ODI format of the game. Perhaps you may not see it as far as the Asia Cup is also concerned. But having said that, let's now dive into, let's say, the nitty-gritties of what tomorrow's match could be all about. Let's just firstly talk about, let's say, the strengths for Sri Lanka, let's say, because even though yesterday's loss, I would say it's something that they would feel would not hurt them so much. But having said that, they were in the contest right till the very end, right till the finish line. You see, you saw in fact Sri Lanka compete right till the very end. Let's just talk about the strengths for Sri Lanka that they're probably going to be focusing on tomorrow. Gargi, if you want to start.
Yeah, I think let's just keep aside Velalage, because he's been brilliant throughout the and at this point there's nothing to say about him because we're all speechless. A 20-year-old performing like that. But then again, Sri Lanka, when we're talking about, they're still missing a few key bowlers. I think with Hasaranga, I think has left the biggest void in that batting lineup, in that bowling lineup. And when we talk about the batting lineup, I think the top order needs to fire, because they've been, just like India problems. The middle order and the lower order has to come in and save the team every single time. That's just something that cannot get you out of jail every single time.
No, I agree actually, because again, even yesterday, and you look at it, the margin was about 40 odd runs. One good partnership at the top, and you were actually sorted. You were sorted. You just needed one good partnership. They didn't have that one good partnership. It came only lower down when you had the last two recognized batters in Dhananjay De Silva and Dunit Velalage. You needed one good partnership. So if I'm Sri Lanka, I'm looking at the top order. And by the way, right now they are so ravaged by injuries that their batting is actually their strong point. They really need the batsmen to step up. You need the likes of Nisanka, Karnaratne. Karnaratne is very enigmatic. kind of like what Fakhar Zaman is really for Pakistan.
True.
He has that one good knock where people are like, now he's gotten it right, then anonymous.
Yeah.
But even see, Kusal Mendes.
He's that, hit and miss player.
Yeah,
He'll hit,
100%.
let's say, 2 out of 10 times perhaps, but
Correct.
those 2 times, he'll
They're
either give
so
you a
good.
double 100
Yeah.
like he has
Yeah.
done in the past, or he'll give you a big 100.
Exactly.
But those 8 misses, again, it's those 2 knocks which will give you believe that Fakhar Zaman will do it for you. But again, then there's a string of blows.
Exactly. And Karnaratne is the same. He's been there for a while, not really inexperienced at this point. Kusal Mendes yesterday, I was a bit disappointed by, because I thought he could have done much better than he did. Of course, peach of a ball from Bumrah, no two ways about it. But if he had to last long, I think he could have been him and Samara Vikrama. Samara Vikrama also threw his wicket away, trying to charge down Kuldeep. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of a bad call, even in foresight.
Yeah.
My first reaction at the point is, what is he doing? And then, yeah,
No need.
no need whatsoever.
Again, you were ahead of the run rate, the required run rate. There was absolutely no need for him to charge down, especially to Kuldeep.
The one spinner who was
guy
causing
is
you so much
breathing fire
problem.
right now.
Exactly. So actually their batting really needs to step up,
Yeah.
because bowling, all things considered, is actually look good. They have 3, and actually now with Asalanka suddenly doing so well, 4 spinning options.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean you knew Tikshana, proven entity. Velalage has really stepped up in the absence of Hasaranga.
True.
And of course Asalanka being the third, and Dhananjay De Silva, who by the way yesterday was also not too bad with the ball. It was very, very good. Of course, granted spinning conditions and whatnot, but I think he was going in an economy of 2.8.
You're right.
Yeah. So he was also bowling very well. Again, don't know what pitch they're going to get.
Yeah.
That's the key.
That's
because again, we've seen 2 different types of pitches at the Premadasa.
Yeah.
The India-Pakistan match was an absolute belter of a wicket.
Yeah.
And then one day later, you're playing on a different pitch that was spinning like, oh my god.
They're so contrasting and just meters away from each other.
Exactly. So,
In fact, I think the pitch is going to play a big role
Yeah,
tomorrow, because if it's a turner, I think Sri Lanka will have that slight edge over
Yes.
Pakistan. But
Correct.
if at all there is seeming conditions out there, we know there's only one winner in that contest, and that will be Pakistan. Albeit they may not have 2 of their speedsters tomorrow.
exactly.
Yeah.
We don't know about Haris Rauf yet, but we do know, and Shane broke that story on Sports Day for you guys. Do watch that story as well. There is no Naseem Shah available for Pakistan. Now, what that does is, and you saw glimpses of that in that game against India, Pakistan without Haris Rauf, it only bowled 5 overs over there.
And he bowled it on the first
other
day.
5, you had to, resort to Iftikhar to be able to, complete those other overs. And who else was that?
Iftikhar and Fahim Ashraf.
And Fahim Ashraf, who was, by the way, a touch expensive.
Oh, he
Fahim
was.
Ashraf.
Yeah.
So again, in the absence of Haris Rauf, if that is the case tomorrow, again we haven't.
No,
heard
he's.
from-
I can tell you for a fact that he's not going to be
Exactly,
playing.
we've not heard, let's say, from the PCB yet officially. All we have been told. is
Actually, we have.
it's
Again, I'll tell you what it is they said.
precautionary.
Yeah, so say Haris Rauf, who did not bowl on the reserve day as a precautionary measure, continues to recover well after he felt discomfort. But continues to recover means he's not going to be playing tomorrow.
Yeah, it's just like what happened with Sri Lanka, Shanto.
Oh, that was
They're-
Bangladesh.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, that was Bangladesh. They're all saving their best, players
And
for the
one could say
World
for
Cup.
IR as well. The statement was similarly worded.
Correct.
The statement that we got from the B, and what did we see the following match? He didn't participate in yesterday's clash.
Yeah.
So again, and I sort of agree with Shane, because there's been no more light that's been thrown by the PCB. If you don't have a Haris Rauf tomorrow, then because then I think Fahim Ashraf will again have to start for them,
He has to.
and then of course comes in
Mohammad Wasim Jr.
Does he come in, or the replacement for Naseem?
I mean, if Haris is not playing and Naseem is also not playing, then both are coming in.
Yeah.
both will have.
Both will have to come in because you have only Shaheen fit of the trio. And if neither of them are playing, see with Naseem
By
we
the
know
way,
he's ruled
Shaheen
out.
also had that little blow to his finger, if you remember. That little, while he went for that catch,
Yeah.
for the longest time he was getting treatment, and probably that's why you didn't see those variations from him the other day.
Correct, he wasn't looking to use his slower
Yeah.
balls. So actually, if you think about it, they're going to be having to make two changes. So I see,
Force changes.
yes, I see both Zaman Khan and Mohammad Wasim Jr. coming in. So actually, but it's good depth.
It's actually good, from a Pakistan perspective, because at some point I would have wanted to give game time to, if not Zaman,
Yeah.
Mohammad
At least Wasim Jr.
for
Exactly.
sure, because for a fact that he's going to be there in the World Cup squad as well. And who knows if at some point you really want a fourth seamer as well. We've not seen Pakistan do that, or any team rather go ahead and name 4 pacers. But with such good quality, you want game time to be given
Yeah.
to
Correct.
a bowler like Mohammad Wasim Jr. And perhaps tomorrow, even though Pakistan will have their neck on the line, perhaps tomorrow is the right opportunity as well.
But I believe when it comes to game time, giving game time to those pacers, they wouldn't have wanted it to happen at in a shootout match.
Exactly. It's very enforced, and
Yeah.
it's kind of unfortunate that neither Haris nor Naseem are going to be playing, because actually the thing with Shaheen is, we know he has that ability to run through opposition, but he blows hot and cold even between matches.
Yeah.
Even between matches, sometimes he'll bowl a pitch of a delivery one time and then the next one is sprayed wide. Naseem had that consistency and control down pat. You saw how badly he was troubling Rohit at one point. He had Rohit pinned to the crease,
Yeah.
getting it to swing in, swing out,
Naseem
straight
did
in.
trouble. Rohit was at best just negotiating with him.
Correct.
He was a tad lucky as well, let's say, and that's what it is. It does come down to luck also.
Oh, yeah.
Many a times. Not taking the credit away from Rohit, he got to a 50, if I'm not
58,
wrong.
yeah.
But then, that's what it is. Really need to be lucky that the ball doesn't take your outside edge at times. He was troubled, but again, he hung in there and was rewarded for all the effort that he'd put in, and he got to that 50 as well. And perhaps some of the Sri Lankan batsmen will have to do exactly that, because that's exactly something that they should have done yesterday, could have done, didn't do, lost those 2 points.
Also another interesting point will be, since we were talking about the contrasting personalities of the two pitches that we saw in India versus Pakistan and in yesterday's match as well. It will also depend a lot on the toss. Like we saw yesterday, because India chose won the toss and chose to bat first.
Yep.
That proved all the difference.
Yeah, it did actually, because the pitch, actually to be fair, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I thought that under lights, the pitch eased out a tad.
Rohit said that, in fact.
Oh, he did?
Oh, he
Rohit
did?
said that. Rohit said that, towards the latter stages of the match, he felt as, even though he was the fielding captain then, he felt that the conditions had eased for batting.
So actually Sri Lanka would actually rue the fact that they threw away some of their wickets, because if they had to bat deep, 214 wasn't a big total in 50 overs, because if the pitch was in fact easing out, and to be fair, you saw the way at times that Velalage and all were negotiating.
Yeah, there was a 63-run partnership, let's not forget.
Exactly.
And maybe perhaps had Theekshana, because he's a half-decent batter.
He can at least wallop a couple.
Exactly. Had he stuck around, in fact, I think it was Jadeja who picked up his wicket while Theekshana was trying to clear the infield. Had he stuck around, because Velalage was doing the job just fine. There wasn't half a chance, I remember him giving to the Indian bowlers. The entire, result of the match could have been different.
Like Theekshana, I thought was a bit shaky. Remember that run out? He almost gave away.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When
That was-
Jadeja missed,
He
right?
stranded nowhere. He had given up running because he's like, no, Jadeja, though, he knows his CSK teammate is not missing. The one time Jadeja, I saw him miss from that sort of a situation. I think he himself didn't know how much time he had, because he was off balance and everything when he went to throw. And I'm like, Theekshana had given up. If he had to just steady himself and throw, he would have still got the wicket.
But how about your assessment of the Pakistan batting? I think Gargi hinted to the fact that she sees as the contributions from the middle order, and I completely agree with her.
That's correct.
As the one weakness, let's say, from a Pakistan perspective, because the last time I remember them scoring an imposing total was a 320-30 odd that they did against Nepal. Of all teams, you saw Iftika get 100 over there. Again, didn't fire against India.
He hasn't fired against anyone since.
Against anyone for that matter. Rizwan is yet to be amongst the runs. So I think it's the batting perhaps, and if you, let's say, take away 2 figures, and we know those 2 figures, of
I'd
which
say just one.
One, exactly, of which just one has contributed. I think the bigger question marks for Pakistan to answer right now are for the batters.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, if you're looking at the openers, Fakhar Zaman, he had that one brief run where he got like 3 consecutive tons. Form's fallen off a cliff since.
Yeah.
Imam, there's forever questions about his strike rate, never changed. Number 3 is Babar, no questions about him, but everything revolves around him. You get him, and then that batting lineup just looks weak because Rizwan, you're right, has not been contributing at all at number 4, and even 5 and 6 are Iftikhar and Aga Salman.
Aga Salman.
So even Aga Salman hasn't really done much in
Yeah.
terms of either with the bat or the ball. Aga Salman, in fact, dare I say, has had a much better time in Test cricket than he has in ODI cricket. In Test cricket, I think he's averaging 90 odd right now with the bat. So such has been his form. But beyond that, actually, their batting is very concerning. Nothing wrong with their pace. The other concern for them, their spin. Shadab has been very expensive throughout
Very
this
expensive,
tournament.
especially he was targeted by
Rohit.
Rohit, targeted by KL as well. Remember that beautiful 6 that he hit over mid wicket. So yeah, he is still. I think Shadab, the thing with him is he's struggling to find his
Rhythm,
and the right lengths at the moment.
I think he's a better bowler in T20Is than he is in one days. I just get that feeling with him. 4 overs is just right for him. The longer he bowls, his consistency tends to waver a bit, and that is a problem. If you're going to have to bowl 10 overs, then yeah, that is a bit of a problem if you're not consistent enough. And recently, he's not been getting that much spin either, for whatever reason. I can't quite pinpoint it. And the problem is that if a Shadab doesn't fire, then again your spin bowling quartet, whoever is there, just doesn't look good. Agha Salman and Iftikhar are part-timers at best. Nawaz, I mean, he's your only other option. So that really is the big concern. I think both of these teams actually are very focused on certain players doing the job. For Sri Lanka, it's their spinners.
Yeah.
For Pakistan, it's their pacers. And both have shaky batting lineups.
Does it look like a battle of equals?
Yeah, in the sense that both are equally average.
Gargi?
Well,
Is it easy, let's say, to pick an outright favorite in this match?
yes, Pakistan.
So it's not a battle of equals.
No, but when you talk about, where are you lacking and all of that, you kind of see similarities in Pakistan and Sri Lanka as well. You have your key players missing, your key bowlers are missing, to be precise. That's a problem both Pakistan and Sri Lanka are having.
But
So
Sri
in that
Lanka, don't you
sense,
think, again, they pushed India real close yesterday?
They did,
Is
of course
it not?
they did.
Is it not a morale booster of sorts that, okay, yes, maybe a little more application with the bat and we could have had the result our way?
Of course. I mean, that's something that Sri Lanka should look for in the next match tomorrow as well, to, cause an upset against Pakistan. That would be a thrilling match to watch.
Their problem with their batting also is that, it has potential.
Yeah, it just has potential.
Yeah, these guys can perform. Are they going to? That you don't know. That consistency they lack more often than not. That is a problem. Because again, if you look at the batting, even without a Kusal Pereira and Avishka Fernando, they've done fine.
Yeah.
Samara Vikrama had good bat. Kusal,
He got you 92, 93 the other day, if I'm not
I
wrong.
think yesterday the problem was that the pressure got to them somehow. Because
There
you
was no
saw-
pressure yesterday.
there was self-inflicted pressure after a point.
Exactly.
Inflicted, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
otherwise
saying.
there
That
was
they
no
took
pressure
the
otherwise.
pressure too
Yeah, they had enough time.
Yeah.
In fact, even towards the end, after you were looking at the last 10 overs, I remember the equation reading something around 55 needed of 78.
Yes.
Yeah, so there was no pressure.
Exactly.
I think they were the ones that couldn't hold their nerve and then kind of threw their wickets away. We saw a few, I remember seeing a couple wickets that were absolutely the batter's fault.
In fact, had Sri Lanka, had they been able to negotiate with Kuldeep a little better, because I remember Nepal, for that matter, did a much
That's
better
exactly
job.
what they did.
Much better job. I remember Kuldeep only getting 2 wickets against Nepal, but 28 runs.
Correct.
Or maybe just the 1 wicket. I'm not.
No,
too
he
sure.
didn't get any wickets against Nepal.
But just 28 runs. I remember.
Yeah, he was
runs.
very economical.
Yeah, exactly. Again, no risks being taken. Very, very calculative in terms of their approach. Nepal perhaps had that little bit of application we'd seen from Sri Lanka yesterday. The result could have been different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was the problem, for that matter, with Sri Lanka. It was application, because there was no scoreboard pressure.
Yeah.
Even on a spinning track, if you bat sensibly, you can actually get there, which is shown to you by De Silva and what's his name, Walalanga.
Yeah.
They
But
proved
you
it.
see Pakistan sort of romping to a win like they did, let's say, against Afghanistan, I remember. Then
Even for that, no, Afghanistan, no, it was Afghanistan they romped. Did they?
I think, yeah.
I remember.
No, Bangladesh
It was Nepal who they romped to and Bangladesh.
Bangladesh was also a 7-wicket win, if I'm not wrong. Again, do you see that's
They didn't play Afghanistan. Afghanistan was in the other group.
Yeah.
But
so Bangladesh, in fact, they had played prior
At home.
Yeah.
But another thing that we need to talk about is rain.
Rain, I
There's
think.
no reserve day.
I mean, there's only one more reserve day.
That's
for
the
the final.
final.
Exactly. Oh, and by the way, one of the commenters was pointing out Saud Shakil. Sorry, I confused Aga Salman and Saud Shakil. Shakir is the one coming in at 6-7 for Pakistan
yeah.
in tests and averaging 90 odd. So yeah, he's been well, and in fact, someone points out, yeah, he's actually a better player than an Aga Salman at this point. I don't know why they're not considering him. But and yeah, as we can see on our screens right now, it's just
The
the weather
weather's
forecast
bad.
is not good. It's been like that for a while. In fact, truth be told, ever since this Asia Cup started,
Yeah.
I think we've been more worried about rain than we have results almost.
Yeah.
I think most of us can
Rain cup.
Yeah, most of us can pretty much go on and without any interruptions, without any prompters or anything, just go on talk about what
Sri
we
Lankan
feel
weather?
about Sri Lankan weather and
Yeah.
how it's been. If you were to give
When is rain going to come? I'm like, okay. I've learned so much about
we
Sri
heard
Lankan
so many
topography.
stories about Sri Lankan weather. Our dear friend
Yeah.
Siddharth, who's not here right now, used to tell us things about certain clouds, like Gargi said, looking a certain way, the wind
Yeah.
coming in from one stand, it raining on one side of the stand, not the other side of the ground, things like that. We've heard so much about Sri Lankan weather, and they used to say this for London, by the way, that the weather there is unpredictable. If you've been following the Asia Cup, you know which city is coming a close second, or fighting in fact for the top spot.
It's Colombo, 100%.
Wasn't Palakele much worse?
Palakele was
I thought-
supposed to be worse. That's why actually, but I mean, I don't know. Palakele was just as bad, I think, when it came to prediction of weather. But I don't know. I think this weather has just been one of those. It's quite literally been a dampener throughout this tournament. But anyway,
Party poopa.
yes, it has been. Anyway, if we had to predict,
A winner for
just
tomorrow.
yeah, just out of gut feeling, because I think we've determined that this is really a battle of equals.
For me as well,
Yeah.
it is a battle of equals, and I think tomorrow, if let's say Sri Lanka as co-hosts have any sort of control over the strip, I'm not speculating anything, if
Yeah.
at all, or let's say if the draw of the luck was such for them that they get the kind of strip that offers some turn as a spinning unit, I would say Sri Lanka look
True.
the better team right now for me, to me, and if that's the case tomorrow. I think it is going to be Sri Lanka because they gave India, let's not be mistaken, they gave India a
good
very
fight.
good
Absolutely, yeah.
run for their money. In fact, the pitches in the UAE were very different. It was a different format altogether, but even then, who emerged the winner? Sri Lanka. I think one of the things that sort of works well for them is the fact that they never really had the kind of pressure that an India or a Pakistan have going into the Asia Cup.
True.
It works to their advantage because they're not really catering to the and. It happens, you see in football at times, and let's just sport in general, not having the pressure actually, or with that nothing to lose mentality or nothing to prove, nothing to achieve sort of pressure on you.
No, they have a lot to achieve.
They have, in the sense that they will not feel the kind of pressure that in India and
Yeah.
Pakistan do. Simple as
Of
that.
course.
That is true, and I think in that
So it
sense,
helps their case.
yeah, in that case, it's advantages, and obviously, I think even we were talking about it that Sri Lanka's win last year, unexpected.
Absolutely.
And no one's
Upset.
expecting them to do it in the ODI format, because ODI is probably that one format where I've always had this hypothesis about, let's say, cricket as a whole, that the longer the format, then the more the direct quality of your players matter.
The what quality?
The direct quality.
Okay.
So if you have like 11 individuals who are top notch, 9 times out of 10 you are winning the match.
Yeah.
T20 on the other hand is a good leveler, because you can have maybe 3, 4, 5 star players do the job, but because it's so short, the nature of the game, it can go either way, and that's what worked to Sri Lanka's advantage last year. But full credit, they've done really well this year as well.
Yeah, I somewhat agree with you. I think in T20, star players do really have an impact. Like 1 or 2 players can really change the whole
Exactly.
footing of the match. But when we talk about longer formats, test, ODIs, you need a team to play like a team.
Correct.
You need those 11 individuals to put in equal amount of efforts, if not, a little bit, of course.
Here or there, but yeah,
here or
otherwise,
there,
yeah.
but it has to be a team effort.
Yeah, and so that's why I think even I agree with you guys. I think Pakistan would be the favorites, But if it's a spinning track,
Oh, then Sri Lanka.
then Sri Lanka are
could
starting
possibly-
favorites. Yeah.
Because we saw those glimpses. Let's say, I remember, I think Pathirana did take a fofa the other day. I think it was against Bangladesh, if I'm not wrong. But again, I have a feeling that if it is a turner, even by let's say some stretch, think it's advantage Sri Lanka, and they are not going to be, let's say, steamrolled or be defeated hands down or anything like that. They're, I think, in for a competition. So if I were to pick a winner, let's say for tomorrow, I think it'll be Sri Lanka for me. That's not to say that I don't love the folks on the other side of the border, but it's just that the contest is such and the teams have been such of late. Pakistan for me are depleted at the moment.
They are.
They aren't, and you don't know about how a Mohammad Wasim Jr. would be. Again, of course,
Shaheen would be shouldering a lot more pressure.
Shaheen will have to do a
Yeah.
lot of heavy lifting, as Shane rightly points out. Then you perhaps will not have
Haris.
Haris as well. So again, everything put together, the spin department isn't quite clicking for them right now.
Yeah.
Fahim, if he does in fact end up playing, we saw what happened to him the other day. So perhaps lacking that confidence. The top order not quite contributing as much as, let's say, it did against Afghanistan in the series which
Yeah.
Pakistan played right before the Asia Cup, or the kind of contributions you saw from a Shadab as well in that series that took place. So putting together all that, I think perhaps Sri Lanka look the favourites for me. Not the favourites, they have the little edge, if I were to put it mildly, have that edge going to the competition. But plenty of thoughts from you guys as well, and we'll try to answer some of the questions that you
Yeah,
have.
you have
for
Yashwant
us.
PNVR saying that PAK will win. Others are
Who's saying
predicting. Just scroll up slightly. So you have Yashwant. I don't know what PNVR stands for. Maybe Panvar. But he says PAK will win.
Okay.
Okay.
Varun Parvatanani says that although we hope for an India-Pakistan final, but Sri Lanka are going to be party poopers for that, as they seem to have better bowlers for the conditions. That's what we were pointing out as
Yeah.
well.
Exactly.
Ronak Sinha has a question addressed to you.
Okay, do you think India should back Akshar? As in the entire innings, only Akshar looked comfortable after Rahul against spin. He was rusty with the ball, being on the bench for the last few games.
I mean,
I think you can't really judge a player from one single game. You just can't do that. And Akshar has given you a few good innings. He's given you a lot of contribution with the ball as well. So I don't think at this point, after one match, you're going to decide something about Akshar Patel.
And more importantly, he's not going to get that one entire innings, because
Yeah.
we know for a fact that him and Shardul are basically
Competing for the same spot.
and it depends on
Exactly.
conditions. If it's batter friendly conditions or pace friendly conditions, Shardul's winning out 9 times out of 10. Akshar is only there for when you need a third spinner.
Ideally, if you ask me, it should be
Shami.
Shardul / Akshar / Shami. But the present narrative is such.
You need
and
8
because
batters.
you're looking at playing the kind of cricket that some of the other nations are playing, it's a battle between Shardul
and Akshar?
Akshar at the moment.
Whoever does better with the bat as well.
Yeah, because you're not really, again, you're looking at more of the batting aspect at the moment than, let's say, the wicket taking aspect per
Yeah.
se.
But again, that also really comes down to it, because again, the bowling does matter, because
Of
again,
course.
you're taking them as a both. Because if you're looking at it batting, I would say Akshar is a better bat.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the bowling, Shardul
Shardul-
guarantees you 2 or 3 wickets.
Like I remember saying in the comment section, he's the man with the golden arm.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
does. Again, it will be for all, I think it will be one of the biggest mysteries or a brilliant case study, let's say. Why a mystery? Perhaps just the right case study anyone would want to take up if you're a cricket enthusiast, as to how Shardul sort of does it.
I think he's very enterprising, which is why he also gets hit for runs. But that attacking, that nature that, okay, I'm going to keep bowling attacking lines.
Attacking lines,
That's
attacking
what-
lines, stump to stump.
That's what gets him wickets. I just scroll up and there was Pawan Venkat, no, stay there. He says that can we expect more 350 plus scores in the upcoming World Cup, considering the teams are going bang bang? I mean, you have England doing that right now against New Zealand. I think they were 40 for 2 and now they're 196 for 2.
196
Ben Stokes was hammering Rachin Ravindra for fun.
Yeah.
What is the point of playing a left arm spinner against 2 left-handers?
Just poor captaincy.
Experimentation for the sake of it? I thought that was India's
That's no
thing.
experimentation.
I thought that was
This is
India's
bad
thing.
captaincy.
Yeah, because I mean, you've got 2 left-handers, and Ben Stokes, by the way,
He's on 94.
also remember he's going to be playing this World Cup only as a specialist batter, no bowling.
Yes, no bowling. Yeah.
He won't be bowling, and in fact will most likely be missing the India series, because
Yeah.
he'll get his surgery after the World Cup.
After
Yeah.
the World Cup.
So-
could in fact be missing the IPL as well. You never know. That is something that's been talked about in the
He's-
past as well.
Yeah.
Definitely missing these series.
I think 100% he'll probably sit out the IPL.
Yeah,
How much did he play this year?
Yeah, exactly. He had the dodgy knee, then the toe. I remember him picking up a toe injury
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
that. And
So he
as-
collected an IPL winner's medal without having done much.
Exactly. I think his involvement was down to what, 4 games, 5 games?
At
best?
most, at
Yeah.
most. Vasudha, what is that? Bhivapurkar
Bhivapurkar.
says that Babar doesn't change the playing 11 much, so predicted the playing 11 saying Fakhar, Imam, Babar, Rizwan. Is South in the squad?
South,
Is he in the
Shakil?
squad?
I'm not too sure.
I don't think he is.
We'll check.
We'll check. Iftikhar, Shadab Nawaz,
We'll have to check
we'll have to
somewhere.
check. Is South
else.
Shakil there? I don't think he is. No, he is not.
Ah,
Oh, he is there.
He is there.
Oh, very interesting. Actually, I would like to see South Shakil if that's the case, because I think he would be more useful at this point than what Aga Salman has been.
Yeah.
Same role also. Bowls you a bit of off spin. And
True.
Yeah, so Saud, Iftikhar, Shadab, Nawaz, Usama Mir / Zaman Khan. Oh, we have Usama Mir also.
And Mir was playing until very recently.
Yeah, but then Wasim Jr. and Shaheen. I think she's Vasudha is including Usama because if it's a spin friendly thing, they might go for another
For
spinner
Usama.
option.
Which
Kind of
won't
makes
be
sense.
a bad option at all.
Not at all. But again, I think Usama Mir didn't really set the stage on fire during that series against Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
In fact, I remember saying that that's the one experiment they had done. And I said, you know for a fact Nawaz is coming back. And true enough, that's exactly what happened. But yeah, not a bad shout either which way. Zakaria says that Pak will smash Sri Lanka because Sri Lanka are really weak.
No,
No,
my
I
friend.
don't think
No,
absolutely
no,
not.
no. There is no smashing happening for sure.
Scroll up, please.
Oh, Pratik Bharadwaj makes a good point saying that Shahnawaz Dhani, who was playing the emerging Asia Cup, saying that he was
And
actually
was playing the last year's T20 World, the Asia Cup as well.
same with Wasim Jr.
Wasim Jr.
So I
as well.
don't understand.
Yeah.
The thing was destroyed by Sai Sudarshan and Abhishek Sharma in the emerging Asia Cup. Yeah, I think both of them had taken a liking to them.
Yeah.
Scroll down. Let's see. Varun, we don't have an update on Iyer's injury yet. BCCI is being very close guarded about it because I think, again, back spasm. If it was something that bad, they would have probably sent him back to the NCA.
Yeah.
But I think they're
released
hopeful.
A statement as well.
Yeah, I think they're hopeful that he'll recover
It's
from
been
it.
what? Just
3
4
days.
3 days. 10th is when we got to know about it. 10th was the India-Pakistan match. You're only on the 13th.
Yeah.
So it's just been 3 days.
It normally takes about 5-6 days in a best case
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah,
So,
in cases of a back spasm, right?
so
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
think best case then you're not seeing him before Australia. Would you make changes now? I
don't
doubt.
think.
Exactly.
I think India have the momentum at the moment. One thing you don't want to do, even if Shreyas Iyer is available at let's say for that final, which is to take place on Sunday, the 17th, I don't think you would be wanting to make those changes. Even though you're still looking for, let's say, the 1-2 answers that you still seek at the moment, that answer, let's say, that you were sort of looking for in terms of Ishan Kishan playing in the middle order, to a large extent, you have that answer too. You have that answer as well.
Let's
But yeah,
see. Any more
questions do remain
questions?
over Shreyas Iyer.
Any more questions?
Can you go down? Kusal Pereira and for Karna Ratne. Is that the
Is
question?
Kusal Pereira
In the squad?
Yes.
I think he was supposed
got
to be.
COVID,
He got
na?
COVID, so ended up not being part of the squad.
Yeah,
But if he's included,
he's in the squad. I can.
yeah, he
He's
is
there.
I mean, yeah, wouldn't be the worst option.
And he's attacking as well.
Yeah.
Good attacking option might not be the worst idea. Actually, you have a Dimuth, yeah, that's the thing. As we say, hit or miss.
Wishy-washy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, Vasudha saying another question is that should Fakhar be dropped? I mean,
It's actually a call that Pakistan can take. I think
They
they have a
can.
decent enough sample size.
they can. I mean, would they do it now? Maybe not, but to be fair, now is the only time. I don't think they're playing another series till the World
Are
Cup.
they not?
I don't think they are. That's the thing, they're not really playing a series. So, if they have to do it, maybe now's the time. But in a big game, I doubt. Good question, by the way, from Mohammad Anazik, and I think we'll get the answer to that soon. They may very well just announce their playing 11. Pakistan have
Yeah,
been doing
they've
it.
been
Could
that.
happen
They've been
tonight.
doing that.
Yeah.
They did it on both the occasions against India, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, any moment now, and it's in fact happened somewhere around the 8 o'clock mark.
Yeah. It could very well happen.
Do stay tuned. In case they do that, we'll be the first ones to tell you about it. Tap
Yeah,
that
and I
bell
think
icon.
I think that's enough questions.
Yeah,
We're good with the
yeah,
questions.
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of repeats.
So Pakistan going through.
Pakistan.
Slight edge to Pakistan, but really very 59-41
it's actually-
or 49-51. What's wrong with me? Yeah.
It's difficult to choose, but I don't know. My gut just says Pakistan.
I'll say
Sri Lanka.
55-45, 55 in favor of.
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. Yeah.
So that's our predictions. You guys can let us know as well in the comments what you feel about this match, or in fact India's chances as well. Considering I think they would be favourites now for the Asia Cup.
Yes.
Not being hyperbolic here, just stating an obvious fact. But thank you guys for your company in this edition of the Dugout. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget like, share, subscribe, tap that bell, follow us across socials, download the SportsTak app. Stay tuned. We'll be bringing you lots more from the world of sport. For now, though, from Gargi, Harshit, and myself, Shane. Bye bye.